Lieutenant June pressed his back against the cold stone wall. He could hear Goran soldiers moving through the ruins, searching for his team. Next to him, Dr. Hana Kim worked on a small device, trying to fix their broken radio. "How much longer?" June whispered. "I don't know," Hana replied. "Something in these ruins is blocking our signal." The 6 humans had fled deep into the canyon after the Goran attack. The ruins were like a maze with many paths and hidden rooms. This had helped them escape, but now they were lost. Crew member Soo-jin looked around nervously. "What is this place? Who built it?" The walls around them were covered in strange writing and pictures. Many showed battles between different alien races. Some of the figures looked human. "I think this was some kind of temple," said Hana. "Or maybe a fortress." June checked his weapon. "We need to find a way back to the ship. Commander, Taeho will be worried." "Wait," said Hana suddenly. She pointed to a wall with a large carving. "Look at this." The carving showed tall, human-like figures standing among smaller aliens. The humans had no weapons, but the aliens around them seemed to be bowing down. "What does it mean?" asked June. Hana touched the carving gently. "I don't know, but these human figures are wearing something on their heads, some kind of crown or helmet." As her fingers traced the carving, part of the wall moved. A hidden door slid open, revealing a dark passage. "Should we go in?" asked Soo-jin. June hesitated, then nodded. "It might be safer than staying here with Gorans looking for us." They entered the passage using their lights to see. The tunnel went down deep under the ruins. After walking for 10 minutes, they came to a large room. Their lights couldn't reach the far walls. "It's huge," whispered Hana. June found a panel on the wall with strange symbols. When he touched it, lights came on throughout the room. Everyone gasped. The room was filled with statues of human-like figures. They stood in a circle facing outward. Each wore a helmet with strange patterns on it. In the center of the room was a raised platform with a single object on it. "Is that?" Soo-jin started. "A helmet," finished June. "Like the ones in the carvings." Hana approached the platform carefully. "This technology is very old but very advanced. This can't be human-made. We never came this far into space until now." "Then who are these statues supposed to be?" asked June. Hana studied the helmet. "Maybe humans were here before, a long time ago. Or maybe these aliens just looked like humans. Or maybe," said Soo-jin slowly, "humans came from here originally." Before they could discuss this further, they heard noises from the tunnel. The Gorans had found the hidden door. "Hide!" ordered June. The humans ducked behind the statues. A moment later, 5 Goran soldiers entered the room. They moved cautiously, weapons ready. One Goran spoke into a device. "Admiral, we found it. The chamber is intact. The disruptor is still here." A voice replied, "Good, destroy it. We cannot let the humans get it." The Gorans moved toward the platform with the helmet. June made a quick decision. "Stop them," he shouted. The humans jumped out and fired their weapons. 2 Gorans fell immediately. The others took cover behind statues. During the fight, Hana made her way to the platform. She grabbed the helmet and called to June. "We need to get out of here." June saw another door on the far side of the room. "That way." The humans ran for the door, firing back at the Gorans. They made it through and found themselves in another tunnel going up. "I think this leads back to the surface," said June. They hurried up the tunnel. Behind them, more Gorans arrived. The humans could hear them getting closer. "They really want this helmet," said Hana, clutching it tightly. "Then they can't have it," said June. "Whatever it is, it's important." They emerged from the tunnel into daylight. They were on the other side of the canyon from where they had entered. In the distance, they could see the crashed Dauntless. "Run for the ship," ordered June. As they ran, Goran soldiers appeared on the ridge above them. Energy weapons fired, hitting the ground around the humans. Halfway to the ship, they saw figures coming toward them. For a moment, June worried it was more Gorans. Then he recognized Commander Taeho leading a rescue team. The 2 groups met, and together they fought off the Goran soldiers. Then they all ran back to the ship. Inside the Dauntless, Taeho called an emergency meeting. Hana placed the helmet on a table where everyone could see it. "What did you find out there?" asked Taeho. June explained about the ruins, the carvings, and the underground chamber. Hana showed pictures she had taken of the strange writing. "The Gorons called this a disruptor," said Hana, pointing to the helmet. "They wanted to destroy it before we could get it." Jiho, the engineer, examined the helmet carefully. "This is amazing technology, far beyond anything we have, but it's also very old." "Can you figure out what it does?" asked Taeho. "Maybe," said Jiho. "Give me some time." While Jiho worked on the helmet, Hana showed Taeho more of her findings. "The writing in the ruins is in many different languages," she said. "I can't read most of them, but some parts seem similar to very old Earth languages." "How is that possible?" asked Taeho. "I don't know," admitted Hana. "But the carvings show human-like beings fighting alongside other aliens against what look like ancient Gorons. The Gorons said we destroyed something called the Ancient Harmony," remembered Taeho. "And they called us unbonded ones." Minji joined the conversation. "Commander, I've been monitoring Goron communications. They keep using a phrase that translates as mind-silent ones when they talk about us." "Mind-silent," repeated Taeho thoughtfully. "Like we don't make noise in their minds." "What if the Gorons are all connected mentally?" suggested Hana. "What if they can all hear each other's thoughts, but they can't hear us?" "That would explain why they're afraid of us," said Taeho. "To them, we're blank spots, unknowable." Jiho called them over to his workstation. He had connected the helmet to some equipment. "I think I figured it out," he said excitedly. "This helmet doesn't do anything to us. It affects the Gorons. It blocks their mental connection to each other. That's why they call it a disruptor," said Hana. "Exactly," nodded Jiho. "When Gorons get close to this, they can't hear other Gorons' thoughts anymore." Taeho stared at the helmet. "So this is the weapon they're afraid of, not our ships or guns. This thing that cuts them off from each other. And maybe humans themselves," added Hana. "What if something about our brains naturally disrupts their telepathy? Maybe that's why they see us as weapons." Before they could discuss further, alarms went off. Yunho rushed into the room. "Commander, our sensors are picking up ships entering orbit." "Many ships? More Gorons?" asked Taeho. "No," said Yunho, smiling for the first time in days. "They're from Earth. The rescue fleet is here." Everyone cheered. But Taeho remained serious. "The Gorons will fight them. They're too afraid of humans to let more of us into their space." He picked up the helmet. "We need to understand this. It might be the key to making peace with the Gorons." As the Earth ships engaged the Goron fleet in orbit, Taeho and his crew prepared for a final stand. They had found something important in these ruins, something that explained why aliens feared humans. Now they just needed to survive long enough to share their discovery with Earth. Commander Taeho Park looked out at the stars from the main window of the UES Dauntless. The ship had been traveling through space for 3 months now. This was humanity's first real trip to the stars. The Dauntless was the best ship Earth had ever built. "Commander, we're picking up signals," said Minji, the communications officer. Her eyes were wide with excitement. "They're not random, they show patterns. They must be from an intelligent alien race." Taeho stood up straight. This was big news. Humans had always wondered if they were alone in space. Now they had their answer. "Can you tell where they're coming from?" he asked. Minji pointed to a screen showing a star map. "From this system here. It's only 2 days away at our current speed." Taeho nodded. "Set course. Let's go meet our neighbors." The crew was excited but also nervous. No one knew what aliens would be like. Would they be friendly? Would they be dangerous? The only way to find out was to meet them. 2 days later, the Dauntless entered a solar system with 11 planets. The third planet from the star was green and blue, much like Earth. But what caught everyone's attention was the massive space station orbiting the fourth planet. "It's huge," whispered Yunho, the tactical officer. "At least 10 times bigger than our largest station back home." Before Taeho could respond, Minji called out, "Commander, They're sending us a message. On the main screen, an alien appeared. It had purple skin, 4 eyes, and a mouth that seemed too wide for its face. It spoke, and a computer translated its words into human language. Greetings, visitors. I am High Diplomat Zell of the Goran Confederation. We welcome you to our space. Tae-ho took a deep breath and replied, I am Commander Park of the United Earthship Dauntless. We come in peace and friendship. The alien seemed to study them for a moment. You are human, from the planet Earth? Yes, Tae-ho answered, surprised. You know of us? The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. We have stories, old stories. You are invited to our diplomatic station to talk more. After the call ended, Tae-ho gathered his senior officers. I need a team to go to their station, he said. Dr. Hana Kim, you're our best language expert. Lieutenant Jun Lee for security. And I'll go too. Dr. Kim adjusted her glasses. Did anyone else notice how the alien reacted when you confirmed we're human? It seemed worried. Jun nodded. I caught that too. We should be careful. The next day, a small shuttle took them to the Goran space station. Inside, they found a large room with 7 different alien species waiting for them. All were part of what they called the Goran Confederation, an alliance of planets across this part of the galaxy. High Diplomat Zell introduced each species. Some had tentacles, others had wings. Some were tall, others short. But all watched the humans closely, almost too closely. Please sit, said Zell, pointing to chairs that had been made to fit human bodies. We have many questions for you. As they talked, Tae-ho noticed the aliens kept their distance from the humans. When Dr. Kim moved toward one to ask about their writing system, the alien backed away quickly. Is something wrong? Dr. Kim asked. No, said Zell quickly. We are just careful with new species. The meeting went on for hours. The Gorans asked about Earth, about human history, about human biology. They seemed most interested in human brains. Do you hear thoughts? One alien asked. Do you feel the connection? Connection? Tae-ho repeated, confused. What connection? The aliens looked at each other. One whispered to Zell, who seemed upset by what he heard. Suddenly, another alien pulled out a small device and pointed it at Lieutenant Jun. A beam of light scanned him from head to toe. Jun's hand moved fast. He knocked the device away. What was that? He demanded. The room went silent. The aliens stared at the humans with what looked like fear. I apologize, said Zell slowly. That was not approved. The meeting is over for today. Please return to your ship. We will talk again tomorrow. Back on the Dauntless, the team reported what happened. Something's not right, said Tae-ho. They're scared of us, but why? We didn't do anything threatening. Dr. Kim was reviewing recordings from the meeting. Listen to this again, she said, playing back the question about connections and thoughts. They asked if we hear thoughts, she explained. What if these aliens are telepathic? What if they can read each other's minds but not ours? Yun-ho ran some tests on the device that had scanned Jun. This thing was trying to map brain patterns, he reported. It's like they were checking for something in our heads. That night, while most of the crew slept, Dr. Kim called Tae-ho to her lab. Commander, I've been analyzing their language patterns, she said. They keep using a phrase I didn't understand at first. They call us the weapon that walks. Tae-ho frowned. A weapon? We haven't shown any weapons. I think they mean us, said Dr. Kim. Humans themselves. Something about us scares them. Before they could discuss it further, alarms blared throughout the ship. 3 ships just appeared, shouted Minji over the intercom. They're Goran warships. Tae-ho ran to the bridge. On the main screen, 3 large ships surrounded the Dauntless. They were bigger and clearly more powerful than the Earthship. A message came through. An older Goran with dark purple skin appeared on screen. I am Admiral Vexera of the Goran Defense Fleet, he said. Your ship and crew are now under our control. You will surrender immediately. What? Taeho was shocked. Why? We've done nothing wrong. We came in peace. Peace? The Admiral's 4 eyes narrowed. You are human. You are the unbonded ones. You are the weapon that destroyed the ancient harmony. You threaten everything we have built. There's been a mistake, Taeho insisted. We don't know what you're talking about. Your kind never remembers, said the Admiral. But we do. We remember what humans can do. Surrender now or be destroyed. Taeho turned to Yunho. Shields up. Get us out of here. They're powering weapons, Yunho reported. The first blast hit the ship hard. The lights flickered. Shields at 60%, called Yunho. Minji, send everything we have back to Earth, ordered Taeho. All our data, all the recordings. They need to know what's happening. Here. Another hit rocked the ship. I see a gap between those 2 ships, said Yunho. If I can hit the smaller one's engine, we might break free. Do it, said Taeho. The Dauntless fired its main weapons. The Goran ship spun away, damaged. The Earth ship pushed through the gap, engines at full power. They're following, Minji reported. Another hit. Then another. Our FTL drive is damaged, reported Jiho, the chief engineer. We can't outrun them for long. Taeho looked at the star map. There's a planet nearby. Can we reach it? Jiho nodded. Maybe, but we'd be trapped there. Better trapped than dead, said Taeho. Set course for the planet, and keep sending that message to Earth. As the Dauntless limped toward the distant planet, Taeho wondered what the Gorans had meant. How could humans be weapons? What was this ancient harmony they had supposedly destroyed? Whatever it was, he needed to keep his crew alive long enough to find out, and to warn Earth that their first contact with aliens had gone very, very wrong. The Dauntless shook as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Fire surrounded the ship as it fell from space. Commander Taeho held onto his chair tightly. Everyone brace for landing, he shouted. The ship's damaged engines fought against gravity. Jiho, the chief engineer, worked frantically at his station. I can slow us down, but I can't stop us, he called out. The ground came up fast. Trees and rocks grew larger in the view screen. Taeho saw a flat area ahead. There! Aim for that clearing! The ship hit the ground hard. Metal screamed. People fell from their seats. Lights went out. Then emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. When the ship finally stopped moving, Taeho stood up slowly. Report, is everyone okay? Around the bridge, people checked themselves and each other. Some had cuts and bruises, but no one seemed badly hurt. Ship status? Taeho asked. Yunho checked his screens. Main power is down. Life support is working. On backup power. Communications are damaged, weapons at 30%. Can we take off again? Jiho shook his head. Not now. Maybe never. The main engines are too damaged. Taeho looked around at his crew. They had trained for space exploration, for meeting new life forms. They had not trained for being shot down and stranded on an alien planet. Listen up, he said loudly so everyone could hear. We're alive, that's what matters. Now we need to stay that way. Minji, keep trying to send messages to Earth. Jiho, see what you can fix. Yunho set up defenses around the ship. The Goran's nowhere. We crashed. They'll be coming. Dr. Hana Kim approached Taeho. Commander, I've been thinking about what the Goran Admiral said. About humans being unbonded ones and a weapon. What if there's something about humans that naturally threatens them? Lieutenant June joined them. Like how they tried to scan my brain. Maybe they were looking for something. Or looking to see if something was missing, said Hana. They asked if we could hear thoughts or feel the connection. What if they communicate with their minds? Taeho nodded slowly. It would explain why they're so afraid of us. If they're telepathic and we're not, we're like blank spots to them. They can't read us. Their discussion was cut short by a shout from outside. June ran to look through a window. Goran ships, he reported. 3 small ones landing about a mile away. Taeho turned to the crew. Everyone, get ready. We need to. A loud explosion cut him off. The ship shook. They're firing at us, shouted Yunho. Return fire, ordered Taeho. Target their ships before they can unload troops. The Dauntless's remaining weapons fired. One of the Goran ships exploded. The others quickly moved behind hills where the humans couldn't hit them. For the next few hours, the humans worked to strengthen their position. They used parts of the ship to build walls around the outside. They set up sensors to warn them if anything approached. Night fell on the alien world. The sky had 3 moons, all smaller than Earth's moon. Their light cast strange shadows across the landscape. "Commander," called Minji, "the sensors show movement, all around us." Taiho looked at the screen. Small dots were moving toward the ship from all directions. The Gorans were surrounding them. "Wake everyone up," he ordered. "Battle stations." The crew took positions around the ship. Some had proper weapons, others had tools they could use to fight. Taiho walked among them. "We don't know what they want," he said. "But we know they're afraid of us. We can use that. Stay together, watch each other's backs." The first attack came just before dawn. Goran soldiers rushed the ship from the east side. They had energy weapons that fired blue beams. "Hold your ground," shouted June, leading the defense on that side. The humans fired back. Their weapons were less advanced but still effective. Several Gorans fell. The others pulled back quickly. "They're running away," said one crew member, surprised. "No," said June. "Look how they move. They're not scared. They're being careful. They're testing us." Throughout the day, the Gorans made small attacks from different directions, never committing fully, always pulling back when the humans fought hard. During a quiet moment, Taiho called his senior officers together. "This isn't working," he said. "We can hold them off for now, but we're trapped here. Our supplies won't last forever." "The Gorans are being strange," said June. "They have better weapons and more soldiers. They could rush us all at once and probably win. But they're staying back, using small groups." "They're afraid to get close to us," said Hana. "Remember what we talked about? If they're telepathic, maybe being near humans affects them somehow." Jiho had been quiet until now. "Commander, I found something when I was checking the area around the ship. There's a canyon about half a mile south of here. It might lead somewhere we could hide better." Taiho thought for a moment. "We can't all go. The ship is our best protection, but we need to explore our options." He made a decision. "June, take Hana and 4 others. Check out this canyon. See if there's anything useful there. Maybe water, or food, or a better place to defend." "What about the Gorans?" asked June. "They seem to attack mostly at dawn and dusk," said Taiho. "Go now while it's midday, and be back before dark." June nodded. He picked 4 crew members who were good fighters. Together with Hana, they prepared to leave the ship. "Stay in radio contact," said Taiho. "If you see anything strange, anything at all, come back immediately." The small group left through a rear door of the ship. They moved quickly across the open ground, then into the cover of strange blue-green trees. Back at the ship, Taiho watched them go. He felt uneasy about splitting up his people, but they needed information. An hour later, the radio crackled. "Commander," came June's voice. "We've reached the canyon. It's deeper than we thought. And there's something here you need to see." "What is it?" asked Taiho. There was a pause. "Buildings," said June finally. "Old ones, very old. Someone built a city inside this canyon a long time ago." Hana's voice came next. "Commander, these ruins, some of the carvings look like humans, but that's impossible. Humans have never been to this part of space before." Taiho felt a chill. "Look around, but be careful. Don't touch anything you don't understand." As June's team explored the ruins, the Gorans attacked the ship again. This time they came from all sides at once. "They know we sent people out," shouted Yunho. "They're trying to keep us busy." Taiho realized the Gorans must have spotted June's team. "Minji, warn June, tell them to hide." But it was too late. The radio filled with the sounds of weapons fire and shouting. "We're under attack." June's voice came through clearly. "At least 20 Gorans. They were waiting for us in the ruins." "Fall back to the ship," ordered Taiho. "Can't," replied June. They're between us and you. We need to go deeper into the canyon. The radio went silent. Tejo tried calling again, but there was no answer. At the ship, the humans managed to fight off the Goran attack. But 6 crew members were injured and June's team was missing. As night fell again, Tejo stood at the window, looking toward the canyon where his people had disappeared. What is happening on this planet, he wondered. What do these aliens know about humans that we don't know ourselves? He had no answers. But he knew one thing. Tomorrow, he would find his missing crew members. And maybe, in those ancient ruins, he would find the truth about why aliens feared humans so much. The sky above the planet filled with bright flashes as Earth ships fought with Goran vessels. From the ground, it looked like strange, silent fireworks. Inside the crashed Dauntless, Commander Tejo watched the battle on screens. Earth had sent 5 large warships to rescue his crew. They were more powerful than the Dauntless, but the Gorans had more ships. Can we talk to our fleet? Tejo asked Minji. She adjusted controls on her panel. Yes, Commander. I've fixed the long-range radio. We have a signal. The main screen showed the face of Admiral Song, the leader of Earth's rescue fleet. Commander Park, said the Admiral. Good to see you alive. We got your warning message about the Gorans. We came as fast as we could. Thank you, Admiral, said Tejo. But we need to stop this fight. We've learned something important about the Gorans. Tejo explained about the helmet they found and what it did. The Gorans are a telepathic species. They share thoughts. Humans naturally disrupt this ability. That's why they fear us. Admiral Song looked concerned. The Gorans won't talk to us. They just attack. How can we stop fighting if they won't listen? Jiho, who had been studying the helmet, spoke up. Commander, I think I can use this technology to send a signal that will disrupt the Gorans' telepathy across a wide area. Like a weapon? Asked Tejo. Yes, said Jiho, but we could also use it to get their attention. Show them we understand their fear. Tejo thought for a moment. Do it. Set up the signal, but don't activate it yet. While Jiho worked, the battle in space continued. Earth ships were strong, but Goran ships were many. It was a close fight. Then something new appeared on the screens. A massive ship, much larger than any others. What is that? Asked Tejo. The Goran command ship, said Minji. Our fleet's scanners say it's carrying their leader, Grand Admiral Vexra. The huge ship opened fire on Earth's fleet. 2 human ships were badly damaged. Tejo made a decision. Jiho, is the signal ready? Yes, Commander, replied Jiho. But it will affect all Gorans in range, including their ships. It might cause confusion, even panic. We need to stop this battle before more people die, said Tejo. Activate the signal. Jiho pressed a button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then on the screens, they saw Goran ships start to move erratically. Some stopped firing. Others drifted out of formation. It's working, said Hana. They can't coordinate without their telepathy. Earth ships quickly gained the upper hand. But Tejo didn't want to win this way. Minji, send a message to all ships, both human and Goran. Tell them we want to talk. Tell the Gorans we understand why they fear us now. Minutes later, the firing stopped. A message came from the Goran command ship. This is Grand Admiral Vexra, said the alien leader, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. What have you done to us? Why can't we hear each other? We are using technology we found on this planet, Tejo explained. The same technology your ancestors faced long ago. We will turn it off if you agree to talk peacefully. There was a long pause, then. Agreed. Turn off your disruptor. Jiho disabled the signal. On the screens, they saw Goran ships regain their formation. We will meet on neutral ground, said Vexera. On the planet's surface, away from your crash site. 2 hours later, Tejo, Hana, and June stood in an open field. With them was Admiral Song, who had come down from orbit. Across from them stood Grand Admiral Vexera and 4 other Gorans. Between the group sat a table with the helmet on it. You found the ancient disruptor, said Vexera, looking at the helmet. Do you understand what it means? We think so, said Tejo. It blocks telepathic communication. Your people can talk to each other with your minds, humans can't. Vexra nodded slowly. Yes. All species in the Goran Confederation share the gift of mental connection. All except humans. But why does that make us a threat? Asked Admiral Song. Because of what happened long ago, said Vexra. Sit, and I will tell you the story our people have passed down for thousands of years. Everyone sat at the table. Vexra began his tale. Long ago, this part of the galaxy was ruled by a species called the Collectors. They had powerful telepathic abilities. They didn't just share thoughts. They could control other species' minds. They enslaved many worlds. Then came the Shapers, warriors from a distant world. The Shapers looked like you humans, but their minds were silent. The Collectors couldn't control them. The Shapers fought back. They created devices like this helmet that disrupted the Collectors' telepathic powers. With these devices, the Shapers freed many species, including the ancestors of the Goran people. The Shapers won the war, but many died in the final battle. After the war, they disappeared. Some say they went home. Others say they died out. Over time, the freed species developed their own telepathic abilities, but in a different way. We don't control each other. We share and connect. It became the foundation of our civilization. When your ship arrived and we sensed the silence in your minds, many of our people feared the Shapers had returned. Some believed you would disrupt our way of life, just as the Shapers disrupted the Collectors. But we're not these Shapers, said Tejo. We're just humans from Earth. Are you certain? Asked Vexra. The timing of your arrival, your physical appearance, the silence of your minds, it is a strong coincidence. Hana had been quiet, thinking. Now she spoke. What if humans are descendants of the Shapers? What if some of them did go home to Earth after the war? That would explain why there are carvings of human-like figures in the ruins, said June. It would also explain why human DNA has certain unusual features, added Hana. Scientists on Earth have wondered why human brains evolved the way they did. What if we had ancestors who were actually from space? Admiral Song looked shocked. Are you suggesting humans are aliens? That we originally came from another planet? Or that the Shapers were early humans who somehow traveled to this part of space, said Hana. Either way, we might be connected to them. Vexra studied the humans carefully. If this is true, then humans carry the legacy of the Shapers. Your natural brain structure disrupts our telepathic field. Not enough to harm us, but enough to make us uncomfortable when near you. Is that why your soldiers kept their distance during the attacks? Asked June. Yes, admitted Vexra. Being too close to humans is like hearing static in our minds. It is not painful, but it is disturbing. Tejo looked at the helmet on the table. This device magnifies that effect? Yes, said Vexra. The Shapers created it to fully block telepathic signals. My people feared you would use such devices to destroy our way of life. We wouldn't do that, said Tejo. We just want to explore and learn, meet new species, trade and share knowledge. Vexra was quiet for a moment, thinking. Finally, he said, Perhaps we have been too fearful. Perhaps we can find a way for our peoples to exist together, despite our differences. I hope so, said Tejo, extending his hand in a human gesture of friendship. After a moment's hesitation, Vexra reached out and took Tejo's hand. As the two leaders shook hands, everyone knew this was just the beginning. Humans and Gorans had much to learn about each other. The road ahead would not be easy. But for the first time there was hope for peace, and humans had learned an amazing truth. The reason aliens feared them was not because of their weapons or technology, but because of what they were. Minds that could not be controlled, thoughts that could not be read. In a galaxy of connected minds, humans stood apart. That was the true weapon that made aliens fear humanity forever. 6 months had passed since the battle and the first meeting between Grand Admiral Vexra and Commander Tejo. Today they met again, but in a very different place. a large, beautiful room on the Goran Central Space Station. Tejo, now wearing the uniform of an Earth ambassador, looked out the window at the stars. Next to him stood Dr. Hana Kim, who had become Earth's lead expert on Goran culture. "Hard to believe how much has changed," said Tejo. Hana nodded. "From enemies to allies in half a year. It's amazing what understanding can do." The door opened, and Vexra entered with his advisors. The Goran leader looked different now. He seemed more relaxed around the humans. "Ambassador Park, Dr. Kim," he greeted them. "Are you ready for the signing?" "Yes," said Tejo. "Earth's leaders have approved the final treaty." They walked together into a larger room. Many important people from both Earth and the Goran Confederation waited there. Screens showed the event being broadcast to both civilizations. Tejo and Vexra sat at a table in the center of the room. In front of them was a document, the Earth-Goran Non-Interference Treaty. "This treaty marks a new beginning for our peoples," said Vexra, his 4 eyes looking at the crowd. "We have moved past fear to understanding." "And from understanding to friendship," added Tejo. "Today we create rules for how humans and Gorans can live and work together peacefully." The main points of the treaty were simple. First, humans would not bring telepathic disruption devices like the ancient helmet into Goran space. Second, human ships and stations would maintain buffer zones where Gorans would not have to come too close to humans if they didn't want to. Third, scientists from both sides would work together to better understand the telepathic effect and how to reduce it. Fourth, Earth and the Goran Confederation would share technology and knowledge to help each other grow. Tejo and Vexra both signed the treaty. The crowd applauded. Cameras flashed. It was a historic moment for both civilizations. After the ceremony, Hana noticed a young Goran watching her from across the room. He seemed different from other Gorans. He didn't keep his distance from humans. Instead, he approached her directly. "Dr. Kim," he said, "I am Vextal, science officer of the Goran Research Fleet. I have studied your work on the Shaper ruins." "It's nice to meet you," said Hana. "Are you interested in Earth's possible connection to the Shapers?" "Very much," said Vextal. "I am part of a group called the Individuals. We see the human difference as something positive." "Different how?" asked Hana. "Most Gorans depend on telepathic connection. We think and decide as groups, but some of us want to develop stronger individual minds, like humans have." This surprised Hana. "You want to be more like us, even though our presence disrupts your telepathy?" "Yes," said Vexatal. "We believe the disruption can help us grow. It forces us to think for ourselves." Across the room, Tejo was speaking with Admiral Song, who had commanded the Earth Rescue Fleet. "The ship is almost ready," said Song. "The new Dauntless, bigger and better than the one you crashed." Tejo smiled. "I didn't crash it. I made an emergency landing." "Of course," laughed Song. "And you'll command this one too. The first long-term joint mission between humans and Gorans." Tejo looked surprised. "Joint mission? I hadn't heard about that part." "Just decided today," said Song. "Vexra suggested it. A few brave Gorans will join your crew to see if they can adapt to working closely with humans." "That won't be easy for them," said Tejo. "Being around humans affects them." "That's the point," said Song. "They want to learn to overcome it, and we want to learn more about them." Later, Tejo, Hana, and some other human officials took a tour of the space station. Their Goran guide showed them how their technology worked. Most of it was built for beings who could share thoughts. Controls were simple because Gorans could communicate mentally with their machines. "This is why we never developed AI like humans did," explained the guide. "We didn't need to. Our group minds could do what your computers do." "Fascinating," said Hana. "Your whole civilization is built on connection rather than individual achievement." "Yes," said the guide, "which is why humans scare many of us. You are so alone in your heads, so separate. Yet you achieved space travel, created advanced technology, built your own civilization." "We did it differently," said Tejo. "Not better or worse, just different." That evening there was a celebration dinner. Humans and Gorans sat together, though most Gorans still kept some distance from the humans. They could handle being in the same room now, but not too close. During the dinner, Vextal approached Teho and Hana again. This time he had something to show them. "I've been studying human DNA and comparing it to samples we found in the Shaper ruins," he said, showing them a data pad with complex images. "The match is remarkable. Not identical, but very close." "So it's true," said Hana. "Humans are related to the Shapers." "It appears so," said Vextal. "But there's more. We found records suggesting the Shapers didn't die out or go home after defeating the Collectors. Some stayed in this part of space." "What happened to them?" asked Teho. "They changed themselves," said Vextal. "They modified their own genetics to be more like the species they had freed. They wanted to join our telepathic community." "They gave up being human?" asked Hana. "In a way," said Vextal. "They became something new. Neither fully human nor fully like us. They could maintain their individual thinking but also share thoughts when they wanted to." "Are there any of these changed Shapers left?" asked Teho. Vextal hesitated. "We believe some of their descendants still exist, living on remote worlds. My group, the individuals, hopes to find them. We think they might help us bridge the gap between our peoples." Later that night, Teho stood alone on an observation deck looking out at the stars. Hana joined him. "Thinking about the mission?" she asked. "Yes," said Teho. "We're going to explore deeper into space than any humans have gone before, and we'll have Goran crew members with us." "It won't be easy," said Hana. "They'll struggle being around us all the time." "But they want to try," said Teho. "That's what matters. They're not letting fear stop them anymore." Hana looked out at the stars. "Do you think we'll find them? These changed Shapers that Vextal mentioned?" "I don't know," said Teho, "but I hope so. They might help us understand ourselves better." The next day, news of the treaty spread throughout Earth and the Goran worlds. Some were happy about it, others were worried. Change was never easy. On a small Goran colony world, a teacher explained to young Gorans about humans. "They are different from us," she said. "Their minds are silent to our senses. This made us fear them at first. But now we are learning that different doesn't mean dangerous." One young Goran raised a hand. "Teacher, is it true that humans can't hear each other's thoughts at all? How do they understand each other?" "They use words and expressions," said the teacher. "They have to work harder to communicate. But this has made them strong in different ways." "Will we ever be friends with humans?" asked another young Goran. The teacher thought for a moment. "Some of us already are. The future will bring our peoples closer together, even if we have to keep some physical distance." Across the galaxy, humanity had found its place among the stars. They were the silent minds in a telepathic sea, the individuals in a connected community. What had once made aliens fear them now made them unique and valuable. The weapon that made aliens fear humanity forever wasn't a weapon at all. It was simply being human.